بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Today inshallah ta'ala we're going to discuss together unit 2 of the reading 2 course. The first selection or the first passage which is entitled Soccer. Soccer means كرة القدم. Let us discuss the new vocabulary of the passage. Pledge means swore. Credence means credit, مصداقية. Obligatory, compulsory. Archery is a game of throwing arrows or shooting arrows. Ban, prevent, occasionally from time to time. Revoked, cancelled. Came after, succeeded, replaced, tell it. Spectator, onlooker. Surpass, exceed, يتجاوز. Fanatic, radical. Wholesome, healthy. Inferior, lower. Kicking, striking. Restored, revived. Simulate, resemble. Created, generated. Unadulterated, محض, absolute, neat or pure. Archery, sport of shooting arrows with a bow. Haze means mock or ridicule. Vex, يسخر من. The first paragraph of the passage. It has been said that the sun never sets of the game of soccer. لا تغيب عنا الشمس. The origin of this game, however, is not fully known. We do not know exactly the origin of this game. Some say it is originated in Sparta. Sparta is a city in Greece, في اليونان. While others claim it was born in England between 1050 to 1075. Whatever the truth may be, game has many years of popularity, لها شعبية, and now has millions of devotees, fans, ملايين المشجعين in nearly every nation of the world. Soccer, which was purely a kicking game, was first known in England. As football. Later and simply, by chance, the element of running with the ball was introduced at Rugby College. Hence, the name of rugby was attached to the new game. In 1863, the London Football Association was formed, and it pledged to play the pure, unadulterated kicking type of game, which was given the name Association Football. Later the name was abbreviated, تم اختصاره to soccer. The third paragraph. Some authorities give the credit of the origin of football to Sparta in 500 BC, before Christ, قبل الميلاد. But there seems to be few details of the Spartan game and the players. No statues or drawing to support the fact that the Greeks, اليونانيون, and Romans were football players. However, there might have been a ball game of similar type played by teams of Spartan boys in the book. Greek athletic sports and festivals, as Norman Gardiner maintains that the Spartan games resembled the English games more closely than any other games of the ancient world about which we know. Paragraph number 4. Football play was first played sometime between 1050 and 1075 found a quick favor, satisfaction among the English, بين الإنجليز. The game as played in the 12th century seemed to be without limits as to playing area. The beginning of a standardized game was made when a limited field was required, but there was no standardized regular number of players, and teams ranged from 15 to 50. Points were scored when the ball was kicked over the goal line. It was until the 12th century that the game came to be known officially رسميا as football. This was the history of the football game or the soccer. The fifth paragraph, King Henry II became alarmed because his subjects were neglecting the compulsory practice of archery, and so he ordered players to cease playing, to stop playing the game. His successors continued to ban football for more than 400 years. However, the game was played occasionally from time to time, and thus the principles of the sport were passed on the future generations. James الأول, who took over the English throne, اعتلى عرش الإنجليز, in 1603, revoked the law of Henry II. Revoked means cancelled, because firemen had succeeded archery and there was no need for archery practice. Number 6. Paragraph number 6. This early form of football, which might really be called soccer from the time it started in England in the 11th century until the middle of the 19th century, was strictly a kicking game. So it is a kicking game, ركل. Picking up and running with the ball was never allowed until the unexpected violation of the rules by William Ellis of Rugby College. The new style of play was called rugby football, although the game was not first played at Rugby College. Number 7, paragraph number 7. Soccer was the first kind of football played in the United States and is the only kind played in many countries other than the United States and Great Britain. However, the crowds that attend soccer games in England, Germany, France, and Brazil surpass the biggest football spectator group in America. From 1820 until 1830, soccer games between the freshmen and sophomores were played at Yale and Harvard as a means of hazing the freshmen. Hazing means to ridicule, يعني يسخر من اللي هم طلاب سنة أولى. Freshman means the first level at university, and the sophomores mean the second level of students. Okay, طلاب سنة ثانية. The faculties at Yale and Harvard stopped the game in 1830 because of the many injuries. هناك العديد من الإصابات, casualties resulting from that. However, the game was revived تم إحياؤها in 1860, and the first college game was played by Princeton and Rutgers in 1869. The majority of rules adopted by London Football Association in 1866 continued to govern or rule the game until 1925, when a few radical changes were made. Paragraph number 8, The official women's rules were established. أيضا كان هناك قوانين للنساء in 1927. These rules came about as a result of changes in the men's rules. The resulting new rules were introduced to make the game suitable for girls and women. In general, doctors have supported the opinion, the idea that soccer is a good sport for women and girls under wholesome conditions. Wholesome means healthy conditions, and when properly supervised under the supervision of rules. This is the end of paragraph number 1 concerning the unit 2. These questions should be taken into consideration to be discussed in the lecture, inshallah.